Let's go. Gosh.
Hold on, this is going to take me a few tries to back this up. It's a tight driveway. All right, the shakes are gone. I got this now, so I can continue on with the video. Alrighty, hi everyone. Welcome to Aardvark Expeditions. I'm Gavin. And you're here with me in my beloved 1996 Land Rover Discovery that I belovedly named Chadwick. And I kind of wanted to do a walkthrough of him since I kind of just showed him off randomly last YouTube video, and I figured it would be appropriate to kind of introduce him and my story of acquiring a Land Rover and owning one. Chadwick is a little bit crazy. I bought this Discovery sight unseen and drove him 700 miles home. Wasn't the smartest decision I've ever made, but oh boy, it was the most entertaining decision I've ever made. Hopefully we'll find a nice little dirt road. So kind of just bear with me as I figure this out. All right, you're about to meet Chadwick's first flaw here. The locks sag, and there goes my Diet Coke. No! It's okay, still got like a quarter left. Anywho, so this is Chadwick, right? I think I already made that clear. Well, let me be clear. Rochelle? All right, so Chadwick here, I bought back in May, and my Montero's engine kind of went kaput. The rings on it failed, and at the same time I was kind of falling out of love with the Montero, and what originally got me into off-roading was these Land Rovers, and particularly Camel Trophy, and that's what got me into all of it. And I always thought I wasn't worthy to own a Land Rover, mainly because of the price, and then also the mechanical knowledge needed in order to own one, and reliability being kind of defective. So yeah, I was always worried about that, and even though I just love their style and their design and their ruggedness and everything about them, and then, you know, I got to the point where I was like, fucking YOLO, get what you want and just learn. And found this on Craigslist, Marketplace, for hell of a deal. Drove 700 miles to get it all the way in Southern California, and then drove it all the way up to Northern California. And Chadwick here, he's quite a distinguished gentleman when I first got him. Really good body work and everything. I kind of roughed him up a bit from the last video, if you saw. Just a little bit. That. It has actually been smoother than I thought owning him. Nothing catastrophic has happened, aside from the slight overheating and the death wobble when I first got him. So these discoveries are most unique because they come front and rear live axle, just like in the Defenders. It essentially is a Land Rover Defender, but with a different body right on top. They obviously come with a lot of trunk space, and kind of have these interesting light Alpine windows and some horribly useless fishnet baskets up top. Does not come with any sunroofs or power seats. What else? No headlight squirters, so no squirt factor there. Sorry, Scott. And what else? No power. Yeah, no, I already said that. And a bunch of other small features. No heated seats either. A bunch of other small things that didn't really get included, which means a much smoother owning experience and less rust and leaks. All right, so now Chadwick here comes with a horribly gutless but amazingly sounding Rover V8 engine, and this thing has been quite smooth. The only things that I've had to do to kind of help him out and kind of like uplift him, get him going, was new hoses, cleaned out the radiator, new battery, new reservoir tank, because I guess those like to explode really badly. And then put a new water pump on him. Do not look at the JB weld. We do not talk about that, and we do everything we can to ignore that. And that is actually AI right there. You are not seeing JB weld. Also found too on this thing, just a vacuum port completely missing, or vacuum hose. So it was running on low vacuum the whole 700 miles home with the death wobble. So cleared that up, and then after that it passed smog no problem. And yeah, nothing really exciting here. As you can see, lots of room to work on it, way more than my Montero. And pretty simple stuff. I also did to Chadwick a recovery point from ARB in the front. That kind of just mounts to the frame right there. And then on the rear, recovery point from Factor 55. And I decided to go with something, you know, good quality, because I'm going to use it. And thankfully I did go with good quality, because Shadow Alex decided to not use his parking brake, and well, I guess it broke on him, and he bashed right into it. So yep, so I guess it paid for itself. Another thing that paid for itself is these rock sliders. Now, if you remember from the last video, I quite did a beating on them, and probably the best horribly expense I've ever bought on a car, and they paid for themselves tenfold in just one single trip. Yeah, and served great. If you are getting into off-roading and deciding what first mods you should get, rock sliders should be #1 priority. Especially after that trip, I learned the hard way. Well, I didn't, but you know, Sam and Alex might have. But I'm gonna make a separate video, I think, about maybe like off-road mods. I think maybe I'll kind of digress from that in a future video. The next thing I did is these Geolander ATs, just a 31-inch tall skinny all-terrain tire. And then on top of that, I did Bilstein shocks all the way around. And those were a waste of money because I absolutely cannot notice the difference between the old ones, and the new ones were perfectly fine. And apparently it was just the bushings that were out that attached it, not the actual shock itself. So, and then I also did a steering stabilizer, which that is Old Man Emu, and I can't notice a difference with that on it too. I did do stainless steel brake lines all the way around because the old ones were cracked and breaky. And yep, did a service on it, new grease in the swivel pins and brakes and wheel bearings. So kind of been slowly trying to refresh Chadwick here. All right, so future goals to do, things I have in store for Chadwick here, and what else? I guess the big old age question I should start with first is, should you own a Land Rover? And I say absolutely yes. This thing's astonishing, and even more astonishing off-road. It has such a charm driving it. You get a V8 rumble, and just, it's nothing like anything else driving down the road. It is a really awesome car. It will turn you into a mechanic. That's something that you just sign up for, and it's just gonna happen. My future plans with Chadwick might surprise the viewers here. I have no desire to put a rooftop tent on it, lockers, steel bumpers, front steel bumpers, skid plates. What else do people? Lockers, did I already say that? Anyways, you get my point. I'm not planning on doing any of that. What I might plan in the far future is a manual transmission, swapping one of those in there. And not for better off-road capability. I mean, that's a huge debate on the internet, which one's better for which. I personally think automatics are far better for off-road capability. And you could kind of see it in my last video. There was, you know, you're dumping the clutch a lot more, you're struggling with gearing a lot more with manual transmission compared to an automatic. It's much more smoother and stress-free. But I want to do a manual transmission eventually, just for the pure driving experience, you know, and just make it more of a mechanical and engaged experience. And also, Chadwick is not something that I want to be a rock crawler. I have no plans to put massive tires on it, cut up the fenders, and turn it into just some monster. You know, it's just my little adventure buddy, and I personally don't need to do extreme trails to have fun. I enjoy the moderate stuff that I do, and I have other hobbies outside of off-roading where I can get much more of a thrill. So, you know, I don't have any plans for that. I'm not even getting a roof rack. I gotta fit in the garage somehow. So it's just staying the way it is. And I think it's something that much more people should be considering, because enjoying what you have is something, a lost art. So hopefully you get some inspiration from this and go buy a rusty piece of shit and enjoy it yourself if that's your thing. And I'll see you in future adventures. So, adioso.